time. I mean, again, you just the way you engage owners, it's electrifying, and I've enjoyed meeting you every single time I've been at these events. But let's kick things off. What are your core principles that guide the way you design the whole design process at Tesla?
Wow, we approach. There's not like a specific recipe that truly governs everything that we do. We approach every project. I think like a good engineer should, from a first principles perspective, we look at the problem and try to find ways to solve it in in an innovative way, but also in ways that enrich the user's life, the way that the user uses it, the interaction the user has, just make a great product. And I think we've always been focused on the end results of always trying to make the best possible product we can make. And yeah, like we've got some new products coming up. I know I won't be able to talk about those, but I think if you look at the track record that we've had to date, the amount of innovation, the amount of uniqueness that we brought to each product, I think they all stand on their own, and we're just getting better. I feel like we're just getting started, and I think product by product we're getting better and better at what we do.
Yeah, I think we all can agree.
I apologize if you hear some weirdness in the background. I have my dog in the back seat. I'm in my Cybertruck, so.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, your furry friends, welcome to join us for the interview, by the way.
He may.
So, how do you personally stay inspired and motivated to create these new designs? You just talk about how everything gets better and better, but how do you outdo yourself?
Yeah, I think, believe it or not, I'm coming up on my 16-year anniversary. I've been at Tesla 16 years. I joined August 1st, 2000. And, when we started, it felt like we needed to hit a home run with every product. And I feel like we're still on that pace. And, the pressure continues to add. But I think maybe the one of the hardest projects was Model S, because we really had a blank slate. And imagine somebody tells you to go write a novel, and you have a blank piece of paper, and where do you even start? I think now we've got some history behind us. We know what we can do. We know that we will continue to try to be, as innovative as possible. We have an amazing team now that we've been able to build up over the years, both in design and engineering across the board, and an amazing leader who just consistently pushes us to be better and better. We're never complacent, and I think that drive is something that we continue to push ourselves. And I think with the advancements in technology, both on the engineering side, the manufacturing side, but also in the AI space, and you see where things are headed with FSD, you see like this idea of autonomy really taking over. I feel like we're the kind of similar point in transportation history when the world transitioned from the horseless carriage to powered automobiles, and the excitement and the radical change that brought to the world. And here we are again, kind of on that precipice with full self-driving, with autonomy about to radically shape how we're able to get around. And where I feel we're leaders in that space, and we as a design team are tasked with really shaping that future, like creating the product, or like the vessel in which this amazing technology will move us around. And so, that in itself, the gravity of that is so powerful, and the ability to be at the forefront of such a massive change in transportation history and be really kind of, in a way, dictating where that's going to lead. Who doesn't want to be a part of that? That's amazing.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that question, actually. How does autonomy and AI impact the design process?
Well, it's somewhat uncharted territory. And so we're constantly looking at how do we design into a space where nobody's been. And, we have hints and ideas of what an autonomous experience will feel like. We've all used Ubers and Lyfts and ride sharing, and that gives us a taste of that. We fly in planes, we go on buses and trains. And so I think we have a sense for where, an autonomous transportation could take us. But at the transition from going from a powered, we're so used to driving and being in control, to giving up control to something that's many, many times safer already. Even today, FSD is multiple times safer than a human driver. That will continue to improve over the days, weeks, months, years. And so, giving up that control and then creating a space to move us around, and then allow access to people that actually don't have the ability to afford transportation. I think that's what keeps us and my team, really focused. This ability to create the thing, or things plural, that will ultimately kind of free up the ability for people to move more safely and go to places where they couldn't afford to go before, or just couldn't manage. And I think just the knowledge of that inspires us every day.
Tell us about why, I think obviously before you joined Tesla, and it's congrats on 16 years. It's been probably an insane ride. From Model S all the way to Cybertruck, and obviously more products. But why move over from traditional automotive companies to a company like Tesla, even back in those early days? What made you make the jump?
Yeah, it was, everybody I knew thought I was crazy. It was 2008. It was kind of the onset of financial Armageddon. It just seemed like we were not headed in a good direction. And the transportation industry was just really not a sustainable place, and not really moving in a direction to help our planet in a way. And I just thought, here's Tesla with this idea that, an all-in proposition to really try to make an impact in our world, to make a safer space, a more sustainable environment in the way that we move around. And Elon was, 100% in. It was, do or die, and just really felt like there was an opportunity at that moment to take some of the beliefs that I personally had about sustainability and, bring them and help craft the products that, can ultimately help this planet in a really amazing way. And, fast forward all these years, it's insane the impact that we've been able to have over that time. And I don't know that any of us really thought that was possible, but there was a dream for that. And I think when you have that vision, you have that tenacity, and you create amazing products that people love and want to talk about, then you can spread that mission and keep going. And you can see the impact that we've had on the industry as a whole. And we want to continue to do that. And the electrification of the automobile was the first step. I think the automation of the automobile is the second step, and that's kind of the phase we're in now. And it feels like 2008 all over again. We're kind of just figuring it out, and at the really front end of creating what will be the way that we move our family, our friends around, and unlock access to people, like I said, who can't get around now.
Speaking of cars that are memorable, let's talk about the Cybertruck.
Congrats on that, by the way, it's amazing. I beat it up pretty regularly.
Yeah, there's, I wish you were here, Franz. There's at least 24 Cybertrucks all wrapped in various colors and designs. You'd be proud. Question for you though is...
That's great. In a weird sort of way, people always ask me, like, what do you think of the wraps? Like, it's not pure. And I think what we did is we created a canvas for people to express their personality on it. And I actually think, I'm super excited about that. I love seeing the wraps. I love seeing what people do. I get, texts and emails all the time of what people have done to their trucks. And, it's, I personally think it's great that we were able to create a canvas where people can express themselves and express their individuality and, take it to the next level.
Yeah, and you've wrapped your truck too, so I know you're preaching to that choir. But can you talk about what inspired such a bold design choice? I mean, the Cybertruck is arguably one of the most innovative and revolutionary designs in the last 100 years in terms of automotive design. So can you talk about the design journey there?
Yeah, the journey was not a necessarily easy one. We knew that we wanted to do a pickup truck. We started looking at, what makes a truck a truck. And toughness is definitely one of the characteristics that you need to have with a great pickup truck. And if you looked around, we looked at all the competitors, we kind of understand the space. You see that there really was no change in 60 or 70 years. It's the same basic concepts year after year after year. And we just thought, like, let's take a first principles approach to this, and how do you create toughness? And when we looked at the trucks, toughness was on the inside, but not on the outside. And we thought, we have a chance to really bring toughness to the outside and reshape and rethink the way that you construct the vehicle. Very quickly came to the idea that a material like stainless steel would be ultimately, the best product to use to make this kind of tough exterior body. And when you understand the principles of stainless steel, especially the thicknesses that we're using, you really can't form it. You can only break bend it in one direction. And ultimately that created a kind of a philosophy almost like origami, where we looked at how you manufacture this material, and that started to dictate the shape of the vehicle. And if you kind of look at the tenets that we use for design at Tesla, really around simplicity and kind of an elegant simplicity, then you end up almost by default with something like the Cybertruck. So that was really the journey that we went on, and where function helped to dictate form, and it was slightly different process than what we were used to. We know a lot of materials, plastic, aluminum, steel. We know how to form those into anything. And stainless was a material that you necessarily can't form into anything. And so we had to create the product that we could use that material on.
Would you say, with as polarizing as the Cybertruck has been, would you say that the Cybertruck design is going to permeate other future Tesla products?
I mean, that's a question that a lot of people ask. I think, Cybertruck in a way is specific because of the material choice. And I think if we continue to use stainless steel, then it makes sense to continue that aesthetic. But we approach each product with a aesthetic direction that can be unique on itself. We don't have like a principle that every Tesla has to look and have a certain cue or certain elements. We want to have the best product for each design that we do. So without directly answering you, I think the material choice for Cybertruck really dictated the design, and if we continue to use that material, then maybe we'll continue to see the design language.
That's great. Of all the projects you've worked on, you talked about the Model S and how it was a blank canvas early on. Of all the projects you worked on, do you have a favorite? And if so, why?
I mean, my favorite is always the next one, the one that you guys can't speak of that we're working on. It's really easy to get nostalgic about all the great products that we've produced over the time. Cybertruck is an amazing vehicle. I'm in mine because I drive it on a daily basis. I never thought I would be a pickup truck driver. I don't need to drive a pickup truck. I don't, but it's such a joy to drive. It's such a great product that I just have to drive it all the time. So, and that's a testament to how well the team at Tesla took on the project and engineered an amazing vehicle. And manufactured an amazing vehicle, and just a testament to the team that went through all the rigor to create something new and innovative and processes that have never been done before, and bring an amazing amount of innovation to this vehicle. And now, like, once you drive it, it's hard to not drive. And so I don't know, I think it's a great vehicle. But yeah, my favorite vehicle is always the one that we're working on, and which is the one that you can't see. So you'll see soon.
So, obviously we know, I'll let everyone finish now. So as we know, when you take on a new job, obviously, who you report into or your boss can really make or break the job. How would you say Elon as a boss has compared with your previous managers, and how is he different?
That's a good question. I think, Elon is engaged, fully engaged. He's passionate, he's driven, he's, not only just leading the company and leading multiple companies, he's also in the weeds on all the technical aspects. He, has a real desire to get the best out of everything that we do, every individual that works on the team. And I just, from previous people that I worked for, never seen anybody with the ability to do all those things and care so deeply about all those things, and really continue to push and drive, and kind of never let up, and never be complacent, and never rest, and that keeps all of us, you could say that we're all on edge, but the reality is that we're all driving ourselves to be better as well, and to continue to create better product. And the end result is something that people want to buy, they love, they want to talk about, they use all the time. And ultimately it's on this mission to help make a better, more sustainable planet.
Franz, I want to shift gears. How's the Roadster coming along?
Not a day goes by when I don't run into somebody who asks, "Where's my Roadster? How's the Roadster coming?" We are actively working on it. I think you heard Elon on the call the other day. So I think the best way to think about Roadster is the longer it takes, the better it gets. Kind of like a fine wine. And it continues to amaze me how insane this product is going to be. And so I think every day it gets a little bit better. So it'll be worth the wait for sure.
So quick follow-up to that. Will the new Roadster be unveiled or relaunched this year, as Elon mentioned earlier on X?
You'll have to wait and see.
But
Franz, this is a question I've been dying to ask you. What other auto manufacturers is doing a good job with design? Like, when you see something on the road, like, ooh, I kind of like that, or I admire that. Who's doing a good job out there?
Wow, I think there's quite a few manufacturers that are doing a pretty good job. I think there's really an amazing amount of talent out there. I was in China recently and really amazed at how far they come, how quickly all the different brands that we've never heard of here are coming along in terms of advancing design. And but the honest thing is, like, they're still designing for kind of today in my mind and not really thinking about tomorrow. And I think designs of tomorrow are going to be, they need to be different. And I'm not sure that anybody's really on that path yet. And so in a way, when I look at, aesthetically, beautiful cars out there from different brands, it kind of makes me think, like, okay, that's, a continuation of today, continuing, like, to push on this thread that we already know, but, true innovation is going to be the next step. And that's, I think, what really gets me excited about where Tesla's headed. And yeah, I think that's maybe how I'll answer that one.
So I think in legacy auto, you kind of see, a refresh every 4 years. Every 2 years, they'll put out a kind of a different design. But how does, like, something so forward-looking, like robo-taxis, full self-driving, really the future of transportation, how does that really play into the design role and how you think and make up what you think should be the next vehicle?
Yeah, I think, everything around us needs to be designed, and there's plenty of things that are not well designed because people just don't care that much. And I think just because we're going into this era of transportation where we are not the drivers anymore doesn't mean that an aesthetic appeal or something that you're gonna be inside of, in a way, kind of like fashion, like the clothes you wear, the house that you're in. It doesn't mean that it's just going to become this ubiquitous thing, hot thing that you don't care about. Autonomy just means a safer way of moving around, and the opportunity to give back what I feel is the most precious thing that we all have in this world is time, and doing that safely. So, and I think, you'll have a choice to go in something that is ugly or something that's great, and we'll be always making the great one.
Great answer. Another maybe a weird question, Franz, but if you couldn't drive a Tesla, which car would you drive?
And you are being recorded, so.
I'd probably ride my bike.
Nice.
What are some of the things, obviously there's so much, there's a lot that you're obviously up to outside of Tesla, or your hobbies and interests. How do those impact your work in any way?
I think, I have my own personal life, my own family, my interests, but, I don't know that they necessarily influence the decisions that I make or the direction that we do at Tesla. Tesla, we have our own family, we have kind of our own team, and we're really dedicated on, making an impact and making, the future available now, and making sure that the future is safe, fun, and aesthetically beautiful. And it's sometimes tough to do that in the things that are around us that aren't always focused in that direction. So I don't know. It kind of, there's a separation somehow. What works for me. I don't know.
Franz, you mentioned family. Many people here probably don't know this, but your wife runs a company. She CEO, founder of Holzhausen, a sustainable vegan leather goods company. How did that get started, and what's your role in it? I know you believe in sustainability a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this is a passion of hers. It's her company. I'm not involved in it whatsoever, except on the sidelines cheering her on and just really watching what her and her team have been able to accomplish. We're on similar journeys, but we keep a separation. She does her thing, I do my thing, and I'm just super proud of what her and her team have accomplished. And look, it's maybe one day we'll be able to see her materials in a Tesla. It's slightly complicated right now, but yeah, it's amazing what her and her team have done, and I'm super proud of her.
16 years ago, you obviously decided to leave Legacy Auto, Mazda specifically, go to Tesla. But what do you hope your legacy will be in the world of automotive design?
Well, I don't really actually think about that ever. I think if I think about it, what Tesla has accomplished has already been way beyond whatever I imagined an impact I could have as a designer. And so I'm just thrilled to have been a part of it, thrilled to be a part of it. And it's amazing to see the impact that, it's amazing to see the products that we create, that, everybody probably in the audience has done at one point or another time. And just, I'm still amazed that, we've been able to accomplish what we did and, turn the industry. I think if Tesla wasn't around, we wouldn't have seen this massive electrification of the industry and, bluer skies and, ultimately a safer planet, and trying to head in that direction. And, I think now with, what we're doing in autonomy, I think we'll continue to be a leader there and see how we can also move the auto industry in that direction as well. And I'm just thankful and grateful to Elon to have been a part of this journey and, create beautiful products that people, love and are attracted to. Maybe they don't even know what they are, and want to learn more because they're just attracted to it. And ultimately, I think if, leaving great products behind, or having created great products and enriched all of our lives in some meaningful way, is probably the best legacy, I guess. But we have so much more to do. I think, I can't think about a legacy. I think about how,
what's next?
What's next and what we're working on, and that's where my headspace is.
All right, so Kelvin and I, Kelvin, you want to stand? So first off, Franz, Kelvin and I want to thank you so much for coming to the X Takeover. We can see you in your beautiful Tesla behind us, but let's give Franz a round of applause for his time today. Let's stand ovation if possible. This is amazing. You're doing amazing work, Franz, and thank you so much for coming to the X Takeover, the Tesla Takeover. Literally, we have 1,500 people here today, just owners, enthusiasts. So thankful for your work. So thank you for all you're doing for the community, engaging with owners, and talking to Kelvin and I.
Yeah, maybe I can just close it out. I want to say thanks. Again, I apologize for not being there. But I think it's amazing what you guys are doing to bring the community together. And look, Tesla is not where it is today without all of you in the room, without all of you being, advocates, telling friends, and you're on this journey with us, and we thank you so much. And just keep at it. We're going to keep making great products. We'll keep making things that you guys love, that we love, that we want to use as well. And we'll have an amazing future. I'm thrilled to be on the journey with you, and can't wait to see how it manifests itself. So thank you so much.
Thanks again, Franz. Thanks for being here.